Welcome everybody. We're going to take this wood round here and we're going to make us a harvest door hanger. This stencil is from Essential Stencil. If you use the code FUNKYJUNK, all one word, at checkout you'll save 10%. Okay, we're going to do the technique where we put paint on with a baby wipe. I'm using burnt umber right here. What's nice about this with the burnt umber is because it is water-based, so if you get it too dark, you just keep wiping, get a new wipe, and you can make it a little bit darker, which is what happened here. I got it a little bit dark, but I just kept wiping over the top of it and wiped some more of that paint off of there. So, see here, I just flipped it over so we could take some off. See how that works? If you want it darker, just add more paint, all that kind of good stuff. Now, my wipes were extremely wet, so I got this board very wet by doing this. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to start drying it, but I'm not going to make you guys watch me get it dry because it took me just a few minutes to do that. While we're doing that, I want to talk about Stencil Sunday, which is today. My partner, Mary from the Painted Peach, is my co-host, and I am Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration. We'd love it if you'd subscribe to our channels. Make sure you check out the whole playlist. The link is in my description, and make sure you, subscribe to everybody's channel. Give everybody a like, a comment. That helps our channels out really, really well. Okay, so here we go. Let's get started. Now, I want to do something just a little bit different. I want the outside edge to be brown, and I'm going to do the inside white. So I kind of need to get my stencil on here fairly close. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just kind of want it to be in the center. So I'm just measuring that out right there just to double check our dimensions. And I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and that is use some tape. I usually don't tape down my stencils, but we're going to for this one. Okay, to start out so that I can get the shape of my circle here, I'm just very lightly going around the whole stencil, and see, it gave me a little bit of an outline right there. Okay, so that gave me something to work with. So now I'm going to take a paintbrush and we're going to do some paint. Now I end up going through like 3 bottles of paint. I had all this paint that, just had a little bit left. So I'm really happy about that because I got what I could out of them and just tossed them in the trash right then and there because, it's like, oh, there's just a little bit left. There's just a little bit left. And then we end up having 3 or 4 bottles of just a little bit left paint. So I'm kind of happy that I got to go through those and get them tossed in the trash. Now I'm just going along here very, going right up to that edge. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to lay the stencil right back down on top of that and make it all pretty. So here we go with that. Now I'm going to get that center painted and we're going to dry that a little bit, and then I end up going over it with another coat of paint to kind of fill that in and to get it a little bit whiter, if that's a word, I'm not sure. So we're going to dry this first layer. I'm not going to bore you with doing all that. We're going to skip to it all being done. And just like that, with the magic of editing, right there we have that pretty white. Okay, so now I'm going to take a chippy brush and I'm just going to put a little bit of the orange and a little bit of that green on here. And I say a little bit, and I meant to do a little bit, but I did a lot. But that's all right. We're going to end up going right over the top of it with some white to, get it like faded into the background, because these are the colors that we're going to use on our stencil. Okay, now I started to go over it again and I started to get it to look a little mucky, so I decided that I needed to dry it first. So here we go, drying that part right there. Again, I want to thank Mary from the Painted Peach, my co-host. Make sure you check everybody out. This is going to be a wonderful playlist. We have some great creatives that come up with some beautiful, beautiful stenciled projects. All we ask is that you stencil in the playlist, and we do this the first Sunday of each month. If you are a creative and you love stenciling, if you'd like to join us, please contact Mary or myself, and we can add you to the chat, and you can join us next time. So we just ask that you do at least one project, mention the hosts, and give us the link to the playlist, right? So everybody can jump in and find all the magnificent and fun stenciling projects. Okay, so as you can see, I went back over it with the white, and we just got that dry. Now I'm just going to lay my stencil right back down on top. Now it's very vague with the paint that I went over the first time, so I had to be a little bit careful when I did that. Now you're going to see here, I'm going to stencil and then lay it down, stencil again, and then stencil again. My first thought was I'm going to go across around the circle there with the green. Okay, I knew that's what I wanted, the outside edge to be green and then the bottom part to be green down there. But I also wanted some of that at the bottom to be a little bit orange, and it's off camera and I apologize for that. I didn't mean for us to be off camera for the bottom part there. Hopefully I move it up as the thing goes. But you can see how I kind of used my little piece of cardstock to block off what I don't want to be green. Okay, so I'm just kind of going around here. There was a couple little things, like I said, I want them to be orange at the bottom. So that's what I was doing right there. And you can't see me. I am so sorry. But just moving that around. This cardstock makes it nice. This comes with your stencils, you guys. It's the piece that goes between the stencils for shipping and stuff. Take one of those out, cut it up, and use it for this. You know, that way you don't have to do a bunch of taping or anything like that. And it'll keep you from going crazy. Because if you're like me, you go crazy with the stencil brush and you end up stenciling things you don't mean to stencil, right? So that's what I'm doing right here. Now I did go ahead and do part of the wording in the green. And then I decided I'm going to go ahead and do these words green. And then in a little bit, you're going to see I changed my mind again, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go around with that green. We're going to do the top letters green. And that's when I realized, you know, I don't want everything to be green, and the only thing to be orange is the word harvest. So I end up changing my mind and doing some of it brown, which you'll see here in a minute. Okay, so now here we go. We're going to do our orange flowers at the bottom that we kind of skipped over so that we have orange and green on that bottom piece down there. I'm just blocking off and doing a couple spots there. And then we're going to go over the word harvest in orange. And I think this is going to look really cute. I do believe this orange is the pumpkin spice orange. And my green is thicket, I believe, is the two colors that I was using. Right there. Now I had a little spot there that I painted green and I meant for it to be orange. I tried to go over it. It turns out a little bit different. So, you know, when you do one color underneath another color, it's going to turn out a little bit different of a shade. So kind of remember that. So like if you mess up and you painted like there, I painted something green. The way I could have fixed that was I could have gone over all those spots that are orange with green and then put the orange on top, and then they all would have been the same color, because that kind of jumps out there and looks a little crazy because it's a different color. So I just did it the brown to match all the other browns. Okay, so now what I decided to do here is, and you could see those one word, the let us not become weary in doing good. I did that in the brown up there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paint down here and I'm just going to kind of fill in these little flowers and stuff with the orange. I just wanted them to kind of stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to go through and do the leaves. I didn't do everything, but I did do a lot of filling in. And you're like, well, Christy, it's going to look funny and you're not going to have like the veins from the leaves and, you know, the different petals and be able to see the distinction between them. But hold on a minute, just give me a second and I'll show you what we're going to do to fix that, to make that look so that you can see all that stuff. You can kind of see it through there once I got it dry, because I did it a lot lighter than before. Okay, so here I am, I'm laying my stencil down one more time, and now I'm just kind of going over it with my brown stencil brush. I did not add more brown to it, and I'm just kind of going over all of those little things that we kind of filled in. And what that's doing is that's giving us a little bit of, you know, you can see the veins and stuff on the leaves and the petals and things like that. Also makes it look a little bit dimensional. Not a whole lot, but we're just kind of go over it right there. Okay, you can't really see it in here, but you can see it when you're actually looking at it. So I laid it back down, got a little bit more brown paint, and I really dry brushed it off. And I'm very lightly going over the orange word harvest and making that kind of stick out. So that's what we did right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go around the edges because we know that I always frame in all of my projects. I like doing that. and I'm just doing the green. I didn't do a whole lot. I could have done green and orange right there, but I really do like how this turned out. So here is our final reveal. I think it looks really cute how it turned out. I didn't put a hole in it because I'm still trying to decide if I actually want to do it as a door hanger or do something else with it. Like maybe make a wreath out of it. I'm not sure yet, so once I figure it out, I'll post a picture. I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that bell to get notifications when I do put new videos up on YouTube. And thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.